So without any further ado, we want to get right into it. We hope that you enjoy, you learn a lot, take all of it in. It will help you. It will help all of us in this room, and we're so grateful that you're a part of this event with us. So without any further ado, it is my pleasure to welcome the President and CEO of ECO Canada, Kevin Nilsen.
Good morning, everyone. Am I on? Oh, I'm on. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Eco Impact 2025. I cannot believe that it's already been a year since we gathered here last year. So thank you for being with us on this cold, frosty morning in beautiful Calgary. It is my honor to welcome you. My name is Kevin Nilsen. If you didn't listen to what Michael said a couple of minutes ago, I have the privilege of being the president and CEO of ECO Canada. And I'm honored to kick off this event, which is going to be another great event. And what a year it has been. A year ago, I called myself an AI explorer. I was dabbling a little bit with AI, using it, getting familiar with it. Now, I use ChatGPT more than I use Google, which is quite significant. AI has become a daily partner in almost everything that I do. And I look forward to exploring over the next couple of days how that's changing me and how it's changing our workforce and how it's also changing our sector. Another key focus for me over the past year has been the digital transformation. Where are we at on our digital transformation journey? From digitizing our operations to embracing new technologies, to really the most important part of it, which is how do we capture value for ourselves and for our organizations. ECO Canada, as you know, has always been at the forefront of developing a strong, competent workforce. Our mandate is to ensure that there's a competent number of people ready to meet the current and future demand for skills. And that is all the time changing. And the main goals for our EP program is to build the world's leading environmental workforce. Before we dig too deep into the agenda for today, I'd like to take a moment to really recognize our commitment to reconciliation. We are grateful at ECO Canada to live, work, and play on Treaty 7 territory, the traditional territories of the Blackfoot Confederacy, including the Siksika, the Piikani, and the Kainai First Nations. We also honor the Tsuut'ina First Nation, the Stoney Nakoda First Nations, including Chiniki, Bearspaw, and Wensley First Nations, as well as the Métis Nation of Alberta, Zone 3. Most of you know that ECO Canada's true commitment to reconciliation comes through our Indigenous training program called BEAR, where we partner with traditional knowledge keepers to develop a number of different core programs to educate within communities. And we've done educational programs in more than 260 communities all across Canada, from coast to coast to coast. And we're hoping to soon close in on 5,000 individuals that have gone through those programs, which is a considerable achievement. Another big impact this past year has been political instability, starting within the country. Ottawa, the chaos that's going on there. Most of you know that we, as an organization, have been blessed with great programs funded by the federal government. When there is a little bit of chaos in Ottawa, that slows down that train quite a bit, causes a lot of stress and a lot of difficulties for us to continue to do the great work that we do. I know many of you are also dependent on federal contracts, and that's slowing down. Hopefully that will soon speed up again. Also, we can't, I know there are some Americans here, but we can't not talk about the tariff war going on. Is it on? Is it off? What's happening with it? I think we should try to look at some opportunities out of this as opposed to just be worried about some of the challenges. One thing I'll say, because I like to sometimes provoke, and I know there are a lot of different opinions on pipelines in this room, from this side to that side, but if Quebec, and I know there are people from Quebec here, if Quebec wants some natural gas from Alberta, which they do, how do they get that? Do they get that from a pipeline from Alberta to Quebec? No, they don't. They get that from a pipeline from Alberta into Montana, through the United States, to Detroit, into Ontario, and to Quebec, crossing international borders twice in this kind of hostile environment with the US. That causes a lot of energy insecurity. Is that the ideal way of doing it? I don't know. All in all, I think VUCA, for those of you that are familiar with that acronym of vulnerability, uncertainty, complexity, and ambiguity has never rung true more than it does right now. And I think a way to combat some of these challenges is to stay on top of skills development, competency development, and building a strong network. Adaptability, in my opinion, is key. Our sector is resilient, and the end goal with our EP designation is to elevate the credibility of our workforce beyond the sector and into the general public. Eco-impact is designed with this in mind, and the goal for us over the next couple of days is to explore some of these innovative approaches, exchange ideas, and inspire one another to build a resilient and forward-thinking workforce. The environmental workforce is not just a group of individuals, it's a community of passionate and dedicated professionals. This year's theme for Eco-Impact is Powering Green Careers through Innovation and Technology. And over the next couple of days, we're encouraged to take full advantage of the exhibitor hall, the network of people who are gathered here today, to be inspired and to seek new opportunities and new connections that can help you in your career. A key highlight for Eco-Impact this year is also our Speed Mentorship Program. Some of you came from that just now before. I think it's an excellent opportunity to bridge the various generations and to make sure that we tap into the wisdom of those that are leaving. And I know people are always threatening me every year. This is the last time I see you because I'm retiring, and then they still come next year. So thank you for that, Harley. Tonight, I hope all of you will stay with us tonight. I know a lot of other people are coming tonight as well for our Eco-Impact Awards Gala. It's our chance to recognize and honor the pioneers, the innovators, and the leaders who've made a remarkable contribution to the environmental sector. We're going to be presenting 9 different awards tonight, so it's going to be a great evening. We also have a terrific keynote speaker by the name of Ross Memphis Pambron, who's going to share some insights on AI and sustainability. And trust me, you don't want to miss that session. You can always look up a little bit about Ross on the conference website. Lastly, I want to give a heartfelt thank you to our sponsors for making this event possible. You're going to see some of the sponsor logos rotate behind me or on the side. Thank you very much for your contributions. And if you're not sponsoring, you can join us for next year. Also, as many of you know, the EP designation is gaining momentum internationally. And we're also accrediting post-secondary institutions or programs abroad, just like we are in Canada. And I'm happy to say that we have one of our friends from the newest institution abroad joining us today. He's with the Caribbean Maritime University. His name is Professor Ibrahim Ayaguna. He's the deputy president of the Caribbean Maritime University. If you can give a little wave, he's braving it all the way from Jamaica. He bought a fresh new winter coat that he's never tried before, so give him a nice warm hug as he's joining us. And I'm going to have the pleasure of joining him again next week when we do EcoCanada's first conference abroad in Jamaica as we're looking to expand. So thank you everyone for being here today. Let's make this conference a memorable one, full of inspiration, connections, and new ideas. Enjoy Eco-Impact, and thank you for being here. We're going to continue now with our opening plenary session, and that session is titled AI-Powered Sustainability, Shaping the Future Workforce and Environment. And I'm going to ask the panelists to kind of join me on the stage here. And we have rehearsed this. I'm really curious if we're going to be able to sit in the right spots, but we'll see. These guys are seasoned pros. So I've eagerly been looking forward to this opening plenary as we look to build our competencies and adapt to some of the uncertainties that we discussed. One of the most groundbreaking forces obviously shaping our world today is artificial intelligence. AI is no longer just a concept of the future. It is actively reshaping industries, optimizing resources, and driving resiliency in ways that we've never seen before. And I'd like to do a little bit of an exercise this morning. It's something I like when people do it to me. Get the blood flowing a little bit. And I know it's mostly Canadians in here who like to be a little bit this and a little bit that, but pretend your life depends on it. I need you to make a decision when it comes to artificial intelligence. Are you excited or are you anxious? You have to make a decision, one or the other. Think about that for 1 second. Now, if you are excited, I'd like you to stand up. No peer pressure. All right, you can have a seat again. Hope that felt good. It looked good. I did that a little bit just to see where we're at and to give the panelists here who are in this space, who probably are mostly excited. I forgot to look at you guys, but just to tailor their messages a little bit to see, is this something we're anxious about? Are we excited if we have to choose one or the other? So thank you for playing along. In this session today, we're going to explore the powerful role of AI in advancing sustainability across sectors, from clean tech to environmental workforce development. AI-driven solutions are not only addressing global environmental challenges, but also creating new career opportunities and shifting the skills demand of our workforce. And my personal view, which I may be proven wrong later, is that AI will not steal any jobs initially. But I think that people that embrace AI will steal promotions from people who don't embrace AI, and people who embrace AI may get jobs ahead of those that don't embrace AI. So do embrace it. And for those of you that are a little anxious, I want to remind you that EcoCanada, we have a great introductory online program in AI, which is free of charge on our website. So look that up and take that if you're interested. Now, enough talking from me. I'm going to now move it over to some of these experts that have joined me on the panel, and I think they're actually sitting in the right order, so that's impressive. These are all leaders in clean tech and environmental innovation. Starting introductions from your left will be Ashok Kasilingam, Director at M2M Tech, and thank you for being the event partner with us today. He has over 20 years of experience in networking applications, embedded platforms, and AI-driven solutions. His expertise spans telecom, IoT, AI commercialization, and workforce development, making a transformative impact at every step. Next to him, we have BJ Min, co-founder and CEO of Trium Environmental Inc. You probably know Trium Environmental Inc. You may not know that he's also the president and CEO of a new organization, Eco AI Innovates, where he leads AI-driven environmental solutions that push the boundaries of innovation and sustainability. Then we have, to my left, Stephen Wensley. He's the founder and CEO of AccuSpire, a leading company in AI-powered career matching and workforce development. And at EcoCanada, we closely work with him with our job board, which you know is the largest environmental job board in the country. And then Mark Patterson, last but not least. He wanted to be first, but Mark and I go way back. He's a great guy. He's executive director of Magnet, another sponsor today, so thank you. He's dedicated to bridging the gap between job seekers and employers in an evolving workforce. His insights will be invaluable in understanding how AI is shaping careers and economic development. So please join me in welcoming the panelists. Now let's dive into some of the compelling discussions and the key achievements, challenges, and opportunities that AI-powered sustainability presents for both our workforce and our environment. I have a bunch of questions here that we may not get to. I'm going to be on time, don't worry. The first question is a little bit of a longer one, where each of them have up to 4 minutes to give their answer. AI is transforming industries at an unprecedented pace, and sustainability is no exception. Each of you brings a unique perspective to this intersection of AI, workforce development, and innovation. To start with you, Ashok, can you share how your organization is leading AI to advance sustainability initiatives while also preparing the workforce to thrive in this rapidly evolving landscape?
Hello, good morning, everyone. It's very nice to be here. Thank you, Kevin and team, for the opportunity. It's really great to see all the people here. So myself, Ashok Kasilingam, I'm the Executive Director at M2M Tech. We are a group of 40 plus members spread across Canada. We have a sizable presence within Western Canada, like BC and Alberta here. We have a crew of 10 members attending today's booth. It's really exciting to see all of that. What we do, right? So that's something I want to start with. What's our 3 pillar of focus? Workforce development, so that's definitely a focus, and AI commercialization. What I mean by that, or it can be termed as business accelerator, so I will little touch upon that. And then the product development, what we do. So these are the 3 pillars, what we focus on. So let me first start with AI acceleration, since everybody is now talking about AI. If you are a business and if you want to know how AI or how you can discover AI functionalities, AI features for your business, we have some free tools which we can help get you started. So that's one thing you can check out. And if you are already using AI, for example, and if you want some sort of free resourcing for your business in terms of scoping, in terms of MVP development, prototype, any of that, we do have some sort of resourcing for that. So we do work with quite a few industry partners in the sustainability space. For example, Bay Studio, so they are into wildfire management. We provide some AI-powered solutions for them. And we work with a company called CHML Tech. They are into hydrogen-powered storage optimization platform. They are developing that. And we also work with Patterson. They are into some ag tech. They are trying to create some crop decay related detection using some ML algorithms. So we help with them. So as you can see, we work with variety of partners across various industries. We are trying to connect with several groups, understand their pain points, how we can be of help. So we are funded through Scale AI for this initiative to connect with businesses. So we do have funding. So if you are having some need in this regard, please connect with us. In terms of workforce development, so that's a key area which we have been all along for the past 6 years. So we run a industry-aligned upskilling program called Data Talent. The essence of it is to create a AI-ready workforce which can take upon data analytics, data visualization, machine learning, AI-driven solutions, all of that, right? So we are creating that. And as part of that, we encourage learners to have the project-based experience, which will be of very valuable because they can work with the industry partners, gain that project-driven experience, and that will be a valuable toolkit for all the job seekers, right? So we highly encourage you to check that program. It's a federal funded program again. And we also encourage learners to take industry-aligned certifications, for example, from Microsoft, AWS, those kind of certification. We ourselves are a Microsoft certified learning partner. So we help learners with that path. Those are a few areas which we do. We also focus on sustainability related upskilling, focused on low carbon, green buildings, and EV infrastructure. So we are hoping to work very closely with Eco Canada on those. And the third area I want to focus is our in-house product development. So we listen to our stakeholders and we are developing some edge AI-based AI compute device. We have a prototype in our booth. Check that out. We really want to connect with industry stakeholders and understand how we can work together towards the integration and things so that we can make sustainable solutions along the way, because this particular solution is particularly targeted for those who have data privacy issues, who don't want to, so Kevin was talking about using ChatGPT, right? So as we use more and more these type of AI models, we may want to know where our data is going, how private, like how is our privacy maintained. So especially it becomes very important for businesses. So those are areas which we are investing our time. So yeah, so we'll talk more about all of this, all these 2 days long. So thank you for the opportunity. Thanks, Kevin.
Oh, thank you very much. BJ?
All right. Okay, so let me talk about how come environmental engineer got into AI world, right? Well, you know, part of my career, most of my the projects are related to new technology development and commercialization. So getting things done right, right? The another aspect is, you know, grew up in, you know, as a teenager, 1980s. You know, I played with the Apple II. I don't know, you guys remember? XT, AT, floppy disk, right? So, and then exactly. I was geek about, you know, all those, you know, software. So actually, you know, part of my the bachelor's program, I studied, actually, I learned, you know, programming. So it's not the, you know, current coding technique. It's very ancient, like Stone Age, right? COBOL, Fortran, C++. And then when I started working for an American company 30 years ago, I was very fortunate to get involved in first AI project, which was I don't know if you guys remember. If you know this system, you're old school. Unix, right? Expert system, knowledge base. That was 99.4. Then I was shocked. Oh my goodness, computer can actually predict what's going on, right? Oh my god, that's so cool, right? It's actually very simple. So pretty much like the predicting how either it's going to rain or not. Actually asking a few questions, just like a ChatGPT, and then answer. Okay, so the rain, what's reach, the possibility of the raining is 50%, 60% possible. So then since then, I forgot about it. And then 2016, my business partner, Jevons, and I actually were traveling in Eastern Asia to be part of Trade Commissioner Services, a mission. Because, again, we are losing our market in North America because of oil price, everything, the recession. And then on the other hand, our dilemma was always, the Napoleon syndrome? Whenever king's out of country, out of house, inside, something going on, right? So whenever James and myself, abroad, something happens here, either project or office, everything. So we always talk about, oh my goodness, how can we clone ourselves or making some, how they say, platform to mimic how we do, so we don't have to work. And then actually, we turned on TV. Actually, there was AlphaGo, which is AI first ever, AI software who beat up human expert, developed by Google DeepMind. That was a shock. So since then, okay, what we can do? Let's think about what we can do, right? That was actually initial, I think, momentum of my journey on the AI. So since then. Almost 10 years, but actually, we took, first project initiative 6 years ago. So since then, now I'm here. So I'm talking about AI. So that's it. Okay.
Thank you very much for the introduction. We get a lot of applauses here today after every single person. Stephen?
Yes, thank you so much, Kevin, for the opportunity to be here today. So, like Kevin mentioned, AccuSpar is a partner of EcoCanada on the talent side. So essentially, some backstory is we provide job matching services for EcoCanada, its employers, its job seekers, and we currently, as of today, have 5,000 opportunities in the environmental sector in Canada on eco.ca. So go check it out if you're open to new opportunities. We have about 25,000 people with a resume uploaded in terms of talent in this sector. So it's a phenomenal opportunity to find the best of the best in Canada, and there's a lot of environmental professionals in there, and they'll be tagged as such. So we have been working with EcoCanada for almost 5 years. It's hard to believe, time flies. But my experience in AI goes back about a decade. So many of you who are from Calgary or Western Canada might remember we had a really big oil and gas recession in 2015. That's 10 years ago, right? It's hard to believe. So a number of my colleagues, friends, family members, my wife, lost their jobs in the oil and gas industry. I was actually working on several contracts in the oil and gas sector. Almost none of those people work in that sector anymore. What has happened is there was a massive impetus for innovation and transformation in Western Canada, which was like a net positive that came out of that. There's a lot of job loss, but I wouldn't be here, this company wouldn't be here, we wouldn't be working with Eco if it weren't for that. So there are blessings in disguise in life. So that's really where it started. It was a pain point. So I was talking to a lot of job seekers, and we realized, okay, if we go to first principles, what is job search? What is recruitment? It's a data processing problem. And humans are really bad at processing large volumes of data. So, we looked at how many jobs there were in Canada. Like I mentioned, there are 5,000 jobs just today in the environmental sector in Canada. And there's several 100,000 jobs in general for the entire country. So we have a huge percentage of those, maybe 20, 25% changing every week. It's really hard to keep on top of opportunities. So we spoke to a lot of our early stakeholders. I had some conversations with prospective investors, and I said, I think ultimately, this is pre-ChatGPT, pre-OpenAI, I think there will be eventually a future without job search. And I think that's going to be the vision here, is like we're going to have an AI that's going to be a personalized agent that knows everything about you. It knows your skills, your experience, your education, your interests, and your preferences to pivot to a new career if you don't like the career you're in. And it's just going to find the best opportunities for you and do that work in the background. So you don't have to. You'll still be able to choose the opportunities, but you're going to have a lot more time freedom to really focus on putting your best foot forward at the application stage, in the interview, preparing for that interview, et cetera. So we put all our effort for the past several years on trying to be best in class at matching. So to date, we've created over 5 million job matches, and we always just think we're just getting started. So we're very grateful for the opportunity to work with EcoCanada. And the reality is the common thread across all of the greatest innovations and transformations in the environmental sector has been top talent, right? So if you can find top talent faster, or if you are top talent, you can find that best job faster, it's going to help us accelerate this sector so much faster, right? So if we can take a job search and cut it from, say 8 to 12 weeks down to 2 or 1 or maybe days, I think that's pretty exciting, and I think we should all be looking forward to that. So I'm an AI optimist, obviously, or I wouldn't be here. So that's why I stood up.
Good. Fantastic. No, thank you very much. We should give him an applause as well. And then Mark.
Yes, hello everybody. It's great to be here. And again, thank you to Kevin and the ECO team for the opportunity. Mark Patterson, I'm the Executive Director of Magnet. We're a center of innovation focused on the future of work that's housed at Toronto Metropolitan University, formerly Ryerson University in Toronto. Why are we involved in AI, and how are we engaging in that across the country? So we are very focused on digital solutions around the future of work, the impacts of technologies on the future of work, and I would say there's no larger impact on the future of work than AI. And it's not just AI itself. We often think, or people have thought since the release of ChatGPT, that AI, mostly in our consciousness, is that little box that you put a prompt into and ask a question. It's a chatbot. AI is so much more than that. And there are so many different areas of AI that are accelerating almost every single industry, every single technology, and it's all converging. So we are, as humans, horrible at predicting the future when we think about the exponential rate of change in technology. We tend to look at what the future will be by looking into our past, thinking how fast it is changing, and it is changing really quickly. I was remarking not long ago, my father was 17 when they actually got electricity in Nova Scotia in their community. Things have changed a lot in our lifetimes. But what happens is when we turn around, so instead of looking backwards and extrapolating the future based on how things have been changing in the past, when we actually turn around, we're coming face up against the exponential rate of change. We're on that vertical part of the curve that you see, and we're kind of hanging on right now. I think all of us are feeling that, the rate of change that's happening in our industry, in our job, in our career. So it's really interesting, as Kevin opened the presentation, asking the question, are you anxious? Are you excited? I've been doing that for every single presentation I've done for the last 4 years. And I can tell you, most people are both. Even though I stood up, I actually do also have concerns. Concerns about how this technology will affect and impact our society, et cetera. But I'm also very excited. And I think the most important thing is that we all collaborate, especially in industries and across industries as Canadians. We all collaborate on the future that we want and how we are ethically using AI, how we're embedding it into our industry and our work. That becomes really, really important because things are changing really, really quickly. The future, it's really hard to predict even a year or 2, 3 years out now, how it will actually impact. And it's not, again, just AI. It's digital twinning, it's humanoid robotics, it's drone technology, and they're all being accelerated by AI. So when we talk about AI, really think about the components. It's not just machine learning or predictive AI. It's deep learning and also generative AI applications. And generative AI is just not large language models. There's also large quantitative models that are having massive impact on materials science and every other area. So looking forward to the conversation and very excited about the future, but also let's keep an eye on the potential risks and all work together to mitigate those.
Oh, thank you very much. So we're going to, from now on, hold applause until the end. We'll see if you're happy. We're going to have shorter remarks from each person to the following questions. The next question is for all panelists as well, and I think we've established now that AI continues to shape the future work. Now over to the skills side, like what skills do people like me or like younger people or older people, what skills do we need to kind of ensure we have so that we can effectively work alongside AI technologies in the environmental sector? Starting with Ashok again.
Yeah, so I want to start with, I'm pretty sure the members here are aware of Canada's emission target plan, right? So since this is a group which is more focused on sustainability, I want to start there because Government of Canada has identified that as a goal, and there are few programmings, fundings, and all of that is happening surrounding few different area or programs, projects, right? So I would like to highlight low carbon economy, EV infrastructure, green buildings. So these are few projects which you carefully follow. There is a lot of traction in these projects, right? So, and there is a lot of funding as well going on into these. So I would say anyone who is interested, get to know more about this. What type of skills are needed in these type of projects? I think the speaker there mentioned about there are a lot of jobs in a portal which is being sourced into Eco-Canada site. So that should be a good starting point as well. So in general, I would also recommend, I think, anything related to green literacy, environmental policies, indigenous relationship, those are very key to have. And augment that with the technical skills, anything related to automation, AI, IoT, cloud computing, all of that, you need to have at least at a overall level how these can have an impact into any of these projects, right? So for example, if you're talking about digital twins for a green building, how will that help, right? So if you have that view, then you know that digital modeling is a skill you will need if you want to get into that, right? So that's what I would recommend. So if you are just focused on, hey, I am a programmer, I just want to do this, your scope of solving problem is getting reduced because there are a lot of automation which is coming into place. So unless you are expanding your scope of understanding things, what is going along, it's a little tough. So gone are the days where you have one particular skill set and you are good with that. So I would highly recommend understanding where it's like we say it as like follow the money trail, right? So if you know that there is a 10 billion investment into something, then that creates job, right? So what type of businesses are getting that funding? What type of jobs are created out of it? So how can I be part of that? So that's something I would recommend. I also recommend, say, for example, taking some sort of upskilling courses which can give you project-based learning as part of it, because that's hands-on skill can always make you stand out. So that's something which I recommend because these are something which you can take part-time as well for a very low expense. So definitely these are something which I would recommend. Yeah.
Thank you very much. BJ?
Okay, so I'd like to talk about skills from environmental professional perspective, okay? Because in my view, you guys are AI expert already. You know why? Because the AI itself, all the tools, without proper business domain knowledge is useless. That creates hallucination. So you might just have some experience, asking some question to ChatGPT, you got totally wrong answer. You're just laughing at it because of that. So it's a skill set from different angles. So because I'm an environmental professional, so you are. I like to start from the basic stuff. You just find out what kind of tools are available, and see how you can use it. More importantly, you have to be open-minded. Because people say, well, I'm a data scientist, or I'm statistical, I'm a biologist, I'm an engineer, I know better than this. Of course you know better than that. But you can train AI tool to be able to make your work easier, right? I think that's a skill. So instead of those kind of the hard skill, I like to say that you start using AI tools. There are lots of them. ChatGPT, Copilot, Gemini, you name it, right? That's a large language model. Also, there are data processing model too. You might know what's going on over there, but eventually you will learn that. So again, my summary of my recommendation for the skill is being open-minded. Number 2, start from the simple one, which is relevant to your work, and then number 3, you will learn, and that actually you will find out actually the AI is just like an internet. I don't think many people can actually design the web page here, but you guys use web every day, right? Just like that. So AI is a tool. So again, start learning, and then I think you will get there. Thank you.
Stephen?
Yeah, I love what you said, BJ, about your domain knowledge is so valuable, and AI is never going to have the full comprehensive package that you have there. So you're always going to be competitive. I heard the funniest analogy yesterday, actually, where someone said AI in 2025 is sort of like we discovered a new planet of 10 billion people who are all super geniuses and they all want to work for free. Well, how do you compete with that, right? I can't compete with 10 billion super geniuses, and they're all going to be at PhD level as of end of this year, right? So I've actually seen some people talking about this sense of despair where they've put a prompt into ChatGPT 01 Pro or even just a basic 01, and they've had this just complete sense of dread and despair, seeing like, it's literally doing my entire job in seconds. And now what, right? Where do I go from here? And it's actually quite a shock from people who have tried ChatGPT, like, let's say 2 years ago, and then like last week. The improvement has been dramatic. And this is happening across many different types of AI tools. There's been these like huge leaps forward in accuracy. And now that it's internet connected, it's pulling real-time results, it's doing research. I was just sort of curious, like I'll ask a quick question. How many in the room have tried Perplexity? Okay, so a handful. So maybe like 5 to 8 people. So we're actually super early with adoption of like cutting edge AI tools. So actually for everyone in the room, you still have a phenomenal advantage because we're still really early. And if you use these tools, you're gonna outcompete the people that are not using these tools. So the combination of your skill set, your domain knowledge, plus these tools, it's going to accelerate you so much. So that's really important, is developing that full-rounded skill set to actually use these AI tools. I'd say research and data analysis are just like 2 of the most valuable pieces that we're seeing that is just giving us 10x improvements. In software engineering, of course, it's like phenomenal as well. I'm not sure if there's many software engineers in the room. But across the board, the common thread I've heard in terms of explaining what's happening is everybody's skills have to move up a level. Instead of implementing everything and writing everything from scratch, we're all now managers, right? And so I'm no longer, for example, writing giant research reports or proposals or writing code by hand. I'm writing out a product requirements document in detail in English, and now English is the new programming language, right? And I'm putting that in, it will create the schematics, and it'll create the data architecture, and it'll create the code and various other pieces. So that's where we're at, is everybody's moving up a level in their skill set. And I think that's very exciting. We won't have to do as much of the really tedious work that we used to. So I'm very happy about that.
Oh, fantastic. Mark?
Yeah, I think I agree with all the comments so far, and the domain expertise is really important, but I think there's one thing that I think is really, really important. So, and usually how I frame this, how many people here have somebody who's maybe a child who's just heading off to university soon, or is asking questions like, what should I do? What should I study? That's a big question that we get asked all the time. We were part of writing the original proposal to create the Future Skills Center. That's also housed at Toronto Metropolitan University. And so when you go around, everybody says, well, what are the future skills? What should I know? Or what should my son or daughter be taking? And I would say, over time, I've boiled it all down to one thing. Be comfortable with being uncomfortable. The world is changing, as I said, so quickly. And so what does that lead you to? It leads you back to some of the core skills. We hear about prompt engineering and everything. What is that? Actually, it's asking good questions. Understanding how to frame logical, critical thinking, et cetera. It's a lot of those core skills. And I also believe the future, in kind of an interesting way, is also going to be very human. So it's the human skills, the interaction, and so on, that I think are going to be critically important. How we understand teams and conflict and all of the different things that make being human interesting are going to be really, really important. As has been said, the AI, again, and to my comments earlier, it is improving so rapidly, it's mind-boggling, right? If you tried it 6 months ago, it's completely different, and the new models coming out kind of regularly are massively improving performance and already at PhD level in reasoning and so on. In almost every field, there's a lot of prediction we're very close to AGI, or artificial general intelligence, in almost every domain. So again, it is going to be using, this is the year of, you're going to hear a lot about agentic AI, where you're actually having end-to-end process completion by AI tools. So I would say, again, it's good, as has been already said, the future is managing teams of agents, managing processes, and I really think the interesting kind of backlash, if you want to call it, but will also be the human skills are going to become even more and more important. So how we interact with each other, how we collaborate, how we build the society and world we want to live in. It's going to be really important.
Well, thank you very much, Mark. I'm going to shift to asking unique questions to each of the panelists for one round here. So Ashok, M2M specializes in AI-powered machine-to-machine communication, as you were outlining. How do you see this evolving within industries that are traditionally resource-intensive? And how can AI transform the way these sectors approach sustainability?
Yeah, so first thing, I think this has already been outlaid here. So we are in a knowledge economy, right? So the more we adopt automation, AI into the regular practice, the more we are advancing ourselves. So if we are thinking that it may take my job and hence I am going to do the pushback, someone else is going to do that and they are going to be your direct competitor, right? So I would start there. So have that adoption mindset to begin with. So if you are consistently pushing back, thinking that this is a threat to me, threat to my whole business, you are not doing the right thing. That's my point of view, because we do see this type of pushback when we work with a lot of resource-heavy industries like manufacturing, energy, oil and gas sector. So we did hear, for example, there are concerns about data protection, data privacy, and all those kind of things. So you come in as a software company, as an AI accelerator, you take some of our data, so we don't really know where it goes, where it gets stored. So can you provide us some sort of solution which we can trust and then go with that, right? So so when we have such type of conversation, then there can be solutions which can be evolving out of it, right? So that's something which we focus in M2M. So we have, as I said, we have a low power AI compute device just to address this type of concern, right? So the more you are willing to talk to groups who can accelerate you or the digital adoption, AI adoption, I think the better solutions will be. Right. So, whenever we do these type of integrations, we, as an accelerator, we should be always mindful what type of solutions we are pushing to the industry. Right. So that's also super important in terms of, for example, wherever you think there is no necessary for using a large language model, we don't need to use it. So just for the sake of using that, we don't need to use it. You can always have a customized model just for your need and just use that, right? So this type of conversation we should have, because AI adoption also increases the carbon footprint as we are learning, right? So how do we consciously ingrain the practice of having a good sustainable practice, starting with the algorithm selection, starting with the hardware selection? I think these are the type of enablers which will help industries gain the confidence that, yeah, so these guys know what they are talking about. They are having some better solutions here, and I trust what they are talking about, right? So I think that's where the conversation will lead into mutual partnerships, and hence the AI adoption increases, and thereby Canada can itself be a leader in this space. So that's what we are working towards.
No, thank you very much. Mark, over to you here. So Magnet, you work on creating AI-powered solutions for a lot of different industries, not just environment. But how can AI-driven technologies be tailored to address the unique challenges of industries such as agriculture, forestry, fisheries in the context of sustainability?
Yeah, so again, I would go back to saying that it's impacting every single technology and every single process across every industry. So for example, in agriculture, obviously if you can reduce, and there's an incentive here, so farmers, for example, would love to reduce the fuel used, the pesticides used, the water required to grow the crops, right? There's a cost saving, so there's a built-in incentive to look for solutions. And so whether we're talking about precision farming, drone technology, on and on and on, every technology you can think of is being rapidly accelerated by AI tools right now. There's not a single thing that I could think of that's not somewhere in kind of its value chain, supply chain being accelerated. So all of the component pieces of any technology in any industry. So again, it's not just ChatGPT. It's across the board. So being as environmental professionals, as sustainability professionals, being aware of how that is happening. Just another example is just in energy. I mean, I haven't done deep research on this, but I was listening to a podcast recently, and there's a billionaire investor with one of the largest funds that invests in sustainable technologies in the US, who's talking about that fusion is here, that he's writing commercial contracts. People used to think it was 11 to 15 years off. He's like, it's today, because it's so much accelerated by AI. So what does that mean, right? For the energy sector, for sustainability, for energy use in AI. So I would say that we all have a need. If you're, I guess let me go back. One of the reasons why we think this is so critical in any industry, but we'll talk about your sector for now. We are a country. As a country, we're a country of small and medium-sized businesses. So in Canada, we have about 1.34 million employers. Anybody willing to guess, just shout it out from the audience, if you took the median company of that 1.34 million businesses, employers in Canada, how many employees would it have? Less than 5. Most of our workforce, 92%, work in small and medium-sized companies. So that is one of the factors, the capacity to adopt and understand and integrate technologies is harder for small businesses than medium to large businesses, right? In the US, so 92% of the workforce in Canada works in small and micro. In the US, it's 50%. We've all heard about the productivity crisis. What does that mean? I mean, that's a very kind of vague term, but like, why is the deputy governor of the Bank of Canada and everybody saying this is a crisis, break the glass, like this is an emergency? Do you know that in Canada, per worker per hour worked, we're 30% less productive than the equivalent US worker? 30%. So where does that 30% of productivity go? Right? That productivity dividend is what pays for all of our social services, our highways, our system, right? We need to figure out how to be more productive. We need to, because of the makeup of us small businesses, to work with organizations like ECO and other sector councils and organizations to support all of you, especially small and medium-sized businesses, to adopt technology and be more productive. If we look at every single kind of industry, across the board, we are adopting technology at a much slower rate in Canada, and to Ashok's point, that's not an option. So even if we're afraid about all of the potential challenges of it, it's not an option not to adopt. So if you are a small business owner in the room, you need to be thinking about and be an expert on how this is impacting your field. If you're an employee or if you're a new professional in the mentoring program this morning, you need to be getting into this. This needs to be in your top 3 issues of your company, as if you're a leader or even if you're in the sector. Like, how is it evolving? How can we bring my company, my organization, but also our province and our country to be more productive, but also do it in a way that is ethical, responsible, honors people, and we build a society that we want to live in as well at the end of the day, right? So, and there are some challenges in this, and we need to be able to speak out about some of these issues, but it's not going away, and you cannot stick your head in the sand, and you cannot avoid it.
No, very good points there, Mark. We're running a little short on time, so BJ, I'm going to challenge you to be a little briefer in the remarks here. Eco-AI focus on leveraging AI to enhance environmental outcomes. What are some of the most impactful AI applications that you're seeing in environmental monitoring, conservation, and also remediation, which is your expertise? And how can these technologies drive positive change for both the environment and society as a whole?
Wow, that's a big question.
Big question for 1 minute.
All right, so I can see 5 major areas. Starting from the easiest one. Actually, that's how we started. Number 1, AI-powered environmental sensing technology. So all the sensors, flow meters, pressure, even all the water, wastewater management, the remediation systems got all the data acquisition, but human being analyze it. So that's the reason why you adopted the AI. Number 2, moving forward a little bit, now the autonomous system operations using HMI, human-machine interface, SCADA, system control and the data acquisition using H device, NVIDIA. Now you can actually have your system run autonomously. Now, the benefit is not just unmanned operation. Actually, benefit is lower power usage, efficiency, and most importantly, avoidance of the human error and omissions. And then thirdly, I think the third area is actually you probably heard that AI-based data analysis and reporting function. So we recently developed the ESG reporting platform because all the manufacturers require for the the certificate for that they're importing their the product to EU. So good example. But many companies cannot afford that expensive consulting fee, right? And the another thing, the last one, the fourth one is I think disaster prevention technique. Because all the drones, as you guys mentioned, the drones and the satellite images, but still human being actually analyze. So actually using AI tools, actually you can actually predict, analyze anomaly real time, right? So I think that those areas, and then lastly, that's more important. You might be feeling fearful. Robotics, it's coming. AI-based robotics, it's coming. And then it will replace lots of the labors. So those 5 areas I'd like to talk.
Oh, thank you very much. Stephen, final question of the day here as we're running out of time. With your experience in AI solutions at Accuspire, what role can AI play in optimizing the recruitment and development of talent, specifically within the environmental sector?
Yeah, so developing and recruiting talent, these are, this is probably one of the top 2 problems at almost every company is how do we keep our people happy, retain them, and then how do we find more of them? There's this ongoing joke that if you're a founder or CEO of a company, and Kevin, you might relate, you have 2 jobs, bring in the money and recruit good people, right? And I don't know how many people in the room can relate to that, but the reality is if you use AI tooling, if you use AI platforms like the Eco platform, you're going to be able to find great people. You'll find the best people in the country fast, right? And that's going to give you a business advantage. So that solves one of the 2 biggest problems for you as a in management or executive role at a company. So that's going to, of course, bring in good talent, and then you're going to be able to be more competitive. You're going to get stuff done, right? In terms of developing talent, relating to AI, I have one last question for the audience. How many people have an AI playbook at their organization in terms of how you use and implement AI? So we've got a handful of people. I'd highly recommend this. So for us, what we did is we set up a wiki on the platform called Notion, and we encouraged everybody on the team to put their findings of tools, prompts, etc., in the shared playbook that any of us could go in, and you're not going to remember even the ones that you use, so you can go back and reuse the ones that were helpful over and over and over. So that's going to give you a tremendous amount of leverage in your daily work. So yeah, use AI for recruitment, use AI for job search, use AI in your daily skill development, your work, etc., and you're going to have a phenomenal future ahead.
No, fantastic. Unfortunately, we are running out of time, so we have to skip a lot of the questions we had. But I think this has been very thought-provoking. It sort of stimulated some ideas that we need to discuss further. We're going to move into a break at the moment. So if you have questions that you would like to ask the panelists, they're going to hang around the stage here, so come and see them and discuss this. I encourage you to take advantage of the networking opportunity. Go and see the exhibit area, which is kind of tucked away over in that side, out the hallway and over there. Meet with some of the exhibitors. After the short break, we have 3 different sessions that you can choose from. First of all, I want to thank Diversity Institute and Future Skills Center for being the sponsor of the education stream. The 3 options you have to choose from is bioremediation breakthroughs for the remediation industry. The second is auditing essentials and building a sustainable future. And the third is pipeline habitat restoration. So make the selection that speaks the most to you. And thank you very much for participating this morning. Thank you.